TikTok Rick Rock. Good morning, everybody. This is going to be a relatively short stream. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on any of this nonsense. The first thing that we're going to talk about is a default. Oh boy, Chille is buying into the traveler narrative. And the fun fact about the traveler narrative is that despite all of the anecdotal stories that you hear by listening to sovereign citizens who believe that they can travel without a license and that driving is a commercial term and all that other fun stuff, there's never any case law. There's never any appeals courts or Supreme Courts of any jurisdiction, California, some other state, federal. Nobody ever, no judge ever buys into the bullshit they're selling. No attorney ever buys into the bullshit they're selling. And so they keep peddling this nonsense, but they have nothing but anecdotal evidence to show for it. And that's exactly what we have here, where a delete laws customer is a traveler. Listen to this. Listen to this. Impressive. Yeah, listen to it. I mean, we don't need evidence. We don't need facts. We don't need to actually see the filing or anything like that. We don't want to be able to go out to Pacer to pull any of these things. We're going to put up for a federal lawsuit. We're going to put up a circuit court for blank county, state of Maryland. Instead of doing anything that is going to actually allow us to vet these claims, we're just going to throw it out there. So allegedly, in this particular video, allegedly, a guy gets pulled over by the police because he doesn't have any driver's license or license plate on his vehicle. His vehicle isn't registered, yada, yada. Now, his vehicle gets impounded. Now, he says it's going to be $300 to get his vehicle out of impound, but he's going to deal with that later because he has UCC filings. Now, fun fact, sovereign citizens love UCC filings, and here's a little hint. The Uniform Commercial Code is much like the Model Penal Code. No state has adopted the Uniform Commercial Code. They've adopted portions of the Uniform Commercial Code. Just like no state has adopted the Model Penal Code. They've adopted portions of the Model Penal Code. Just like no state, well, I don't know about this, but I'm going to assume that most states have not adopted the American Bar Association Rules of Professional Conduct. They have adopted parts of the American Bar Association Rules of Professional Conduct. So these model rules out there aren't the actual rules. So that's a fun little side note. But he has UCC filings. UCC filings are pretty common by sovereign citizens. It is a lawsuit essentially to get them set aside. You seek injunctive and declaratory relief to have the UCC filing set aside, and they go away. So UCC filings are not the panacea that all these sovereign citizens think they are. They can be defeated. A court does have the power to set them aside. So there you go. So this guy's going to end up paying $300 to get his truck out of storage. Now, he says he gets a default in 21 days. Can he get a default in 21 days? Absolutely, you can get a default in 21 days. It is about as close to impossible as you can get, because you have 21 days from date of service to file your answer. And then once that 21 days has elapsed, if no answer has been filed, then you can submit to the clerk for a default. And a default just means that the answering party, the respondent, defendant, whatever you want to call them, hasn't answered. That's all it means. And it cuts it off. So now you can start proceeding down to get a default judgment. So there's default and default judgment. They are two distinct, separate things. You have to get the default before you can get the default judgment. Now you have 21 days to answer. So can you get a default in 21 days? Well, let's just be charitable with him, and let's just say that after 21 days he filed his request to the clerk for a default, and then they granted it. So what does that mean? Well, it means about nothing, because the next step after getting a default is to go after a default judgment. He did state in the video that he filed this in federal court. Now he does not give us any case numbers or anything like that. So we can't look him up in Pacer. We don't know his name. We don't know the case number or anything like that. So we can't look him up in Pacer. But what we do know is that there's two ways to get a default judgment. There's by the clerk. Now, clerk's default is going to be where you have a contract. Like I sell you a car for $20,000, just for an example. You take the car, but you don't pay me $20,000. I sue you for $20,000. I get a default. I then go seek a default judgment. I say to the clerk, here's the contract, showing that he owes me $20,000. Here is the, can anybody hear me, by the way? You know, I should check. Can people hear me? I've been talking this whole time. Can anybody hear me? I'm going to have to check since no one's responding to me. Oh, you can hear me. All right, perfect. Okay. I have the microphone a little further away from me. All right, perfect. So I just want to make sure that, you know, a few minutes into it, I was getting recorded. All right. So the clerk would then check the contract. They would look at the receipts and things like that, and it's pretty simple for them to just boop, kick out a default judgment. Now, the other way to get one is by the court. You see this part, by the court, in all other cases. So when it's not a sum certain, and sum certain doesn't mean the amount you sued for. Sum certain means like if you have a contract for this amount of money. If it's like a credit card debt, you know, if you show that this is exactly how much they owe in credit card debt, that's a sum certain. It's where you're suing just for dollary dues, and there is some way that anybody with a calculator can pull it out and calculate how much is owed. For all other cases like personal injury, for other damages where it's like medical malpractice, anything where people have to place values on things, like how much is your pain and suffering worth? How much is your inconvenience worth? How much is this vehicle that nobody sold? How much is it worth? I mean, it hasn't been sold, so we don't have like a receipt or anything like that. There's no contract, so we have to value this thing. So in all other cases, the party must apply to the court for a default judgment. The default judgment, blah, blah, blah. And then the court may conduct hearings or make referrals, preserving any federal statutory right to a jury trial, to conduct the accounting, to determine the amount of damages, to establish the truth of any allegation by evidence, or investigate any other matter. So in California, what they call this is a prove-up hearing. And a prove-up hearing is where you have to convince the court that you are actually owed the amount of damages that you pled for in your complaint. So this traveler here, he says he has a $1.7 million, and they just have to run it past the judge for a signature. No, he may have a default, and that default may even be valid. I would doubt it's valid. I would bet you that there's going to be some service issue where he did not properly serve the New York City Police Department. Typically on things like that, you have to effectuate service. Usually there's going to be some sort of an agent for service. So my guess is that service was improper, but I don't know. That is just me guessing. But he's going to have to go in front of a judge who knows the law, a judge who's going to require him to prove to that judge the amount of damages he has and the basis for it. Just because he has a default judgment doesn't mean that the court's going to give him a dime, or just because he has a default doesn't mean the court's going to give him a judgment. Because again, the judge is going to look at the laws, what allegedly these officers did. Now the guy in the video says, you know, all he did was plead UCC and USC, Uniform Commercial Codes, and United States codes. And great, that's great that he pled those, but to get the default, the clerk doesn't look at that. The clerk only looks at, is there a proof of service? If yes, has that proof of service been, does the proof of service show that the responding party was served 21 or more days ago? Yes, or actually more than 21 days, because they have 21 days to respond. If they've been served and it's been more than 21 days, then the clerk will just stamp default on it. Okay. So I think we've covered that. Unless someone jams me with questions, we're going to continue on to the next issue. We've got Paul Unslaved, who is a fucking idiot. I'm going to move the mic here closer so that anybody who can't hear me can now hear me. Paul Unslaved is a fucking idiot. The guy is dumb as dog shit, and he talks really fast, and he throws out a lot of nonsense. He throws out his word salad super fast to try to baffle you with bullshit. And that's all he does, is baffle with bullshit. So we're going to listen to Words Matter. All words have a legal definition and meaning. First of all, I just want to stop there. All words have a legal definition and meaning. Do they? There's a lot of cases out there that pick up a dictionary, not necessarily even Black's legal dictionary, but just a dictionary to figure out what a word means, because there's no legal definition for it. And so they use the common definition, the dictionary definition, to figure out what it is. Way better sound, I figured. So we're going to listen to this. Oh God, I fucking hate this guy. And he drives me nuts because he just spews out dumb shit so fast. Luckily, this is a clip, and so we can go through relatively fast.
He uses the term traffic, right? We all just breeze right past that. Go back to what traffic is.
Go back to what traffic is. Well, luckily for us, there is a definition for what traffic is. Now, this is California's definition of what traffic is. This is from the Vehicle Code. This is section 620 of the Vehicle Code, and it says the term traffic includes pedestrians, ridden animals, vehicles, streetcars, and other conveyances, either singly or together, while using any highway for purposes of travel. That's the definition of traffic. That's what traffic means. So anything that he gives us beyond that definition is pure fucking garbage. Okay, anything beyond that is pure garbage. So let's see what this drooling, window-licking retard has to say about it. It is not the same thing as trafficking. That's why they're different words. See, when you add things onto a word, it changes what it is. Like, if you say, oh God, why did I just go blank? Dumb and dumber. Two different words with two different meanings. And right here we have dumb and dumber. So when you add things to the word, when you change the word, you're probably changing the meaning. I mean, obviously, like color with a U for the English spelling versus color without the U for the Americanized spelling, that's probably not changing the word. But color versus coloring, they're two different words. You change a noun to a verb. I have a color, and now I'm going to start coloring. One is a noun, one is a verb. They have to have different definitions because one is a noun and one is a fucking verb, you cretin. It's how can you be this stupid and have anyone take you seriously? And watching Chille nod along, a 20-year constitutional scholar nodding along to this nonsense, infuriating. Blood pressure down. Well, let's see what drug trafficking and human trafficking mean. So this is human trafficking. What is human trafficking? A person who deprives or violates the personal liberty of another with the intent to obtain forced labor or services is guilty of human trafficking. So there's no intent there for commercial purposes. It just says forced labor or services. So if I violate your personal liberty to, I don't know, make you weed my garden, then there you go. A person who violates the personal liberty of another with the intent to effect or maintain violations of section 266, blah, blah, blah. And let's see what those are. Just for shits and grins. Let's go to Penal Code. Penal Code, section 266. All right, so I'm not going to go through all the details, but 266 is rape, abduction, carnal abuse of children, and seduction. That's not a particularly commercial endeavor. And then there's the 311 series, which is obscene matter. So if you're trafficking people to put them in obscene matter like pornography, and then 518 is going to be extortion. 518 extortion. Interesting. So, and then we're going to go back to this tab. A person who causes, induces, or persuades or attempts to cause, induce, or persuade a person who is a minor at the time of the commission of the offense to engage in a commercial sex act. Oh, we have our first commercial. We have our first commercial. And then there you go. So that's a definition of human trafficking. Now, for drugs, at least in California, there is no, they don't call it, well, I guess technically they can call it trafficking, but it's transports. All they're looking for is transports. It doesn't have to be over the roads. It doesn't have to be across state lines. It just has to be transport. So if you pick it up and put it in your pocket and walk down a nature trail to go sell a doobie to someone, there you go. You're transporting narcotics. So again, Paul Enslaved doesn't know what he's talking about.
He's bringing people, or
and technically, I'm not even sure if you have to get a profit out of this, because if you go back into here, there is no profit. So it's who transports, sells. So it's just transports. All you have to do is to be transporting it. Transports. You could sell it, you could furnish it, you could administer, you can give it away, you can offer to transport, you can offer to sell, you can offer to furnish, you can offer to administer, or you could offer to give it away. That's not commercial. If giving away isn't commercial, administering it isn't necessarily commercial. Just walking around with it in your pocket isn't commercial. So again, he's stupid. So all words have a legal definition, and this guy just makes up his own. 100% fabricates it whole cloth out of thin air. The guy is a window licking retard. Anyway, that's my rant for today. We're gonna, how much time do we have? I got about 15 minutes. We're gonna go through some of the comments. And all right, sitting here in Missouri on a working vacation, I thought I'd catch a little merb this morning. Nothing like a working vacation. I hear you, brother. Then we have TikTok. Yes. Good afternoon. And no notification. YouTube sucks, but does it swallow? Because if it swallows, then I'm in love. Merb. Chickens. Monday morning merb. Chickens. Cock is out. Cock out, rock out. There you go. The Merb Meister is here. Is commercial a commercial term? Is commercial a commercial term? I think that's tautological. I think that's circular. I'm going to guess that commercial inherently is a commercial term. Hey, Merb, face red heart shape. Hi, Scooters. Hey. Surprising that sovcits never win the legal arguments then on the side of the road or in the courtroom. They don't. And every time I have seen a sovereign citizen win, they've won on the basis of either the charges being dropped, like the prosecutor decides not to pursue it. I have also seen a case where they've won not on their legal argument, but a court of appeals found in their favor based on a different, basically where the prosecution had screwed up on a different factor. And so there you go. But I've never seen them actually win on their legal arguments, their U.S. codes about transportation, because you got to remember the federal government does occupy the field as far as commercial vehicles are concerned. They have supremacy of law as to regulating commerce between states. And so commercial vehicles and things like that, they have lots of U.S. codes pertaining to commercial transportation. And a lot of sovereign citizens think that because the federal government has made those, that states can't, but the federal government has allowed the states to make their own. So even though they have supremacy, even though they can occupy the field, I said they occupied the field earlier, that was incorrect. Even though they can, they've chosen to allow the states to basically set higher standards than what the federal government has, and to enforce them. And then we have cocksucker. Very nice, thank you. Sup, Merb, is Merb pantless in the guard today? Yes, and the mosquitoes are going crazy. Chille is sovcit adjacent. He is using sovcits to grift from. Chille loves a good grift, and so I can imagine him picking up the sovcit grift, because there's some of them that make a bunch of money. They sell these pamphlets for like thousands of dollars that will do nothing but get you into an IRS detention or audit or going to jail over tax evasion, things like that. Not fun stuff. When elected governor, De Castro will be able to write any law he wants. Well, I guess if you completely ignore the Republican form of government that each state is required to have. Chille got pulled over, yada, yada, yada. He now sits to pee. I think he got punched in the nuts. A fisting attempt gone wrong. Sometimes Merb's boys got to feel that outside air. Always. They suffocate in tight spaces. Happy Monday. He looks more like Ben Adams with every live stream. I love a pantless Merb. Me too. Paper terrorism. Yes. Sovcits are terrible people who do terrible things, and they are the definition of self-centered, egotistical, and screw everybody else. I want my way, and I'm going to throw a fit if I don't get it. Agreed, Glober Mom. Please, can't you have a little debate with Paul Enslaved about traffic rules? But it wouldn't really be effective, because he would throw out the problem is that he can say so many untruths, half-truths, and lies in 10 minutes, and that it's a gish gout. There is no way that on a live stream you can really break down each thing that he gets wrong enough to show him that he's wrong. And a lot of the things, the problem is the people watch him because they want to believe what he has to say. And so you're never going to get to those people. Those people aren't ever going to believe anybody else who's not Paul Enslaved, because he's telling them what they want to hear. It's the comforting lies, and they're not going to be disabused of it. And the weird thing is, was that guy Paul Stevens or Mark Stevens? He did this forever. There are a bunch of them out there, but Mark Stevens, I've seen quite a bit, and the guy never fucking had a success. He had a ton of acolytes out there who tried his guru ways and never to success. And it was always something that they did wrong. And all I have to say is, if your system is so finicky that you have to be 100% perfect every time to get success, well, then it's not a really good system. The people who are going to be implementing any of these systems, generally speaking, aren't well educated. So there you go. I was talking to my local pub landlord. He started on the sovcit bollocks, then the flat earth came to play too. Merb has yeah, I got 2 of them. Thank you. New and improved trifold. Sure. Get your new version of the trifold. You mean Dele? Any laws he wants. Okay. Good point. How does Paul get away with it? Does he? I mean, why do you think he gets away with it? What have you seen about him getting away with it? Of course. And like, how did Chille get away with it? I mean, he did things that cops could have taken him in for. You got to understand, a lot of times cops don't want the hassle, don't want the paperwork. Cops write a lot of warning tickets, warning citations. Cops give verbal warnings. There are times when things could, or they have probable cause that a crime was committed, but I mean, it's just questionable or whatever. The guy's not doing anything, he's not hurting anybody, we're going to let him go. I've seen a lot of things like that, so I wouldn't put a lot of stock in someone getting away with it. Like, I speed to work every day. Does that mean that speeding's legal? How do I get away with it? Well, I get away with it because I'm not a retard, because I don't speed past cops. I keep my eyes open. I go with the flow of traffic. In a 65 zone, if everybody's doing 80, I'm doing 80, but I'm not sticking out of the pack. I'm not weaving between lanes. I'm not drawing attention to myself. That's how I get away with it. That doesn't mean it's legal. You know what I'm saying? Not surprised. Rooster. Rex Fredrickson's flavor of sovcittery is more interesting. Well, you are allowed. You're entitled to your opinion. I've done my rounds with good old Mighty or Beware Mouse, whatever the hell he calls himself, and that particular flavor of pedophile does not amuse me because he flat out lies. Yes, and by flat out lying, I mean that there's not even. I mean, it's just blatantly like he knows the correct answer. There was something that we were looking up. Well, I mean, his LSAT score was 1300 or something like that, which is impossible. But there was another thing that I caught him on where he specifically cut the window so you couldn't see where he was getting a statute from, and he was trying to pass off the statute as being from a different state or federal or something like that. And I mean, it's just a blatant lie. He cut it so that you couldn't see that. So he knew what he was doing. I mean, he's just a flat out liar. So I'm not really interested in dealing with Rex Fredrickson, who is getting his ass handed to him in federal court apparently all the time. We can hear you. Nice. Yes. I was my first flurf in the wild. Yes, sadly. Yep. 5x5. Yes, you're low. Yes. Oh, yes. This is when I was asking if they could hear me. And then this guy says, we can't hear me. Well, sorry. Hello, everyone, including the roosters. I hear, yes. Like a bad speakerphone, rooster sounds good, though. And the cock. You got to have the cock. Chille thinks laws keep bankers' hours. Does he? Mic sound is low, though. Okay. Cock is louder than me. Nice. We can hear you, rooster. You and rooster. The cock is definitely louder than Merb. They're always louder than I am, I assure you. I can hear the rooster, too. The rooster is louder than you, but we can hear you. Is Merb talking? Okay. Your 3x5 could be louder. Why did the chicken cross the road? Who cares? Okay. Pants, absolutely not. Kelly Blue Book value. My own roosters drive me nuts sometimes. I don't mind mine at all. I really don't. They don't start crowing till the sun comes up. They crow in the morning. They crow in the afternoon, and that's about it. I must have Foghorn Leghorn back there. No, I have Fabio and Inigo. Barbecue chicken this weekend out at Merb's. We actually had barbecue chicken on Sunday. So there you go. Yes, we hear you. How you doing? Maybe they could offer up a fake proof of service like ear. Oh, Earl. Yeah, Earl. Earl had a few issues with affecting service when he sued me and Teresa Richard and the Hemmings and Texas Wolfman and a few other people. Why is Merb's cock so loud? Earl. Pink hand waving. Way better. Laughing. Why did Chille cross the road to grip the chicken? Way better sound. This is why Merb is awesome. He knows his shit. Well, I do, and then I flush it. Oh, I hear Merb now. Yay. Baffle me. Thank you for moving the mic near your mouth. You know what else is near my mouth? His release BS was so stupid. Yes. Like Kate Peters. Why are you bringing up Kate? This has nothing to do with her. Paul Enslaved only, quote, wins, end quote, by editing his videos to show him spouting nonsense at cops and cuts out the part where his vehicle gets towed away. I mean, you got a lot of free speech. You can spout a lot of shit at a lot of cops, and you know, they are required by policy to be polite, generally speaking. Olaf from the sunny Caribbean. Well, lucky you. Send me a ticket. I'll go down there and we'll have some Mai Tais. Paul is strange. Yes, he is. Wouldn't they just need some tard to sign off saying it was served when it wasn't? Well, yes, that's the problem. And that's where and that's what I would assume happened. I'm assuming that it wasn't served. Even though there's proof of service, I'm assuming it wasn't served. And then as soon as like he tries to affect enforcement of the judgment, let's just pretend that he actually gets a judgment, just for shits and grins. I don't think he will, but let's assume he does. Then when he goes to try to enforce it, then all of a sudden the Secretary of State or somebody's gonna be like, "Hey, Attorney General, did you know about this?" Or if it's a city, the city manager's gonna be like, "Wait a minute, hold on a second, I didn't know anything about this." Then they're going to file a motion to set aside judgment, and etc. And then next thing you know, it's going to be a full on case, and the sovcit is going to lose. So there you go. I can't hear Merb. Is it because I'm plugging my ears? Probably. What's up? Fun fact, Paul Enslaved is a grown man who is 100% financially supported by his father. Well, you would assume that if everything Paul was talking about was 100% correct, then he would be able to make millions of dollars suing police who violate his rights by pulling him over and requiring him to have tags on his vehicles. And yet he doesn't. Conform your beliefs to reality. Don't try to bend reality to conform to your beliefs. We are all free to travel on foot. Generally speaking, yes, you're free to travel. You're not necessarily free to drive, operate a moving vehicle, pilot your land vessel, whatever you want to call it. Glass companies love sovcits. Yes, the sovcits do tend to have a disturbing habit of getting their windows broken out and then wondering why. True, Paul thinks working for a living instead of lying to a cold of idiots online is weak. Well, I guess he's a Mensa card holder. Actually, he's the president. Well, I would tend to doubt that. Tell us how you really feel about Paul. I think I was pretty clear that he's a window-licking retard. Similar words do not make them the same things. Exactly. This guy is in a little video saying, words matter. The actual title of the video is Words Matter. The actual title of the video is Words Matter. And the guy like completely fucks it up. Okay. Whatever. Safe Flight Repair, Safe Flight Replace, tip versus tip. You're talking about like tipping people over versus giving them a tip. Similar sounding words. You're confused. He is a Mesna president. Nice. Grammar and linguistics lessons with Merb. I dig it. Okay. Color has no right to be spelled as color. I actually prefer it with a U. So fight me. Thanks, mate. Merb and the verb, two different things. Goose fraba. Probably necessary when you wrote that. It is correctly spelt color. Yes, it is. I agree. I like it's fancy. Got to get a little fancy. Would love to see his UCC one filing. Well, the fun thing about filing those liens is that they don't go through court. You just file them with the Secretary of State, etc. So there's no actual like oversight on it. So anybody can file them, and that's why sovcits love them. It's because it's a thing they can file where they could just file it and it gets recorded, and they think they win, and they end up costing somebody extra money to have it removed. Yay. Paul is thick as pig shit. Yes, he is. And that's an insult to pig shit, by the way. Smiley face. Good day, Filks. No pants Merv versus verb. Okay. Defend wrote the thesaurus. Okay. Merv is going to attack James Freeman for attacking Hero, Illinois. Merv is going to attack James Freeman for attacking Hero, Illinois cop Billy White for citing case law he has to look up to force person he arrested to ID. Right. Okay. What a fucking weirdo. Surfith is a weirdo, by the way. He always posts weird shit in my comment section. Oh yeah, that was 34th Street represent. Sovtard word games. They think they are clever. Yes, and they're not. He's a pimple in the arse of the world. Yes. When there's a traffic jam, people don't say, wow, there's a lot of trafficking there's a lot of trafficking going on. That never happens. That's true because one is a verb, one's a noun. I prefer fuckwitted shitlicker as Chille's descriptor. I don't think Paul Enslaved is worth thinking about. True. In which types of trafficking do we think Paul Enslaved participates? Human, drug, vehicular? He probably traffics poop. All sovtards use their magic words. Yes, they do believe in word magic. Whenever Chille or any sovs idiot speaks, I am suddenly reminded of a commercial with two goats with human faces who are babbling at each other. Sovcits and flat earthers both use semantics because they are using anything to justify their false narratives of reality. I think flat earthers use more misunderstandings of physics and an incapability of of being able to form a mental image like a sphere. How can a sphere appear to be flat? Well, if you get really close to it, it looks flat. And they can't wrap that around their heads. Like they can't think along those lines. Every ball that they could hold, I can see that it's round, but they can't imagine being that close to it. Things like that. Like they're limited by their own ability to manipulate mental models. They're not smart enough is basically what I'm trying to say. So are the chickens pantsless? Of course. We did get we have one Silver Wyandotte who the boys really like way too much, and she has no feathers on her back, and we kept putting saddles on her, but either she or the boys would rip them off. It's horrible. So like she has no feathers on her back. It looks terrible, but what are you gonna do? The cocks are always pantless at Murphy's place. Absolutely. Coming soon to a town near you, the law offices of Laguna and Merb. Okay. I'm licensed to practice in California. She just passed the bar in Florida. They're different. They're different. You're stupid. I don't understand Merb because I don't understand him. Congratulations. I always trafficked it and used it before I could sell it. I'm late as usual. Good morning to all. Paul Enslaved is my Karen for this week's whatever. Earl is in prison giving it away. I don't know. I mean, maybe he's in like the protected unit. My morning coffee in Merb, yummy. And why I have never understood why anybody gets a thrill out of people getting raped. I mean, is this your own sexual fantasy, or are you cool with rape? Like, is that a cool thing for you? Do you like it? People are assholes. Does the new trifold have a definition of traveling versus driving? I'm traveling officer. Probably not. Working and vacation are two words that don't belong together. Unfortunately, sometimes they happen. The street is heavily trafficked. Seeing him slightly irritated with sovcits is funny. Oh, there's a reason why I don't do sovcit videos. There's a reason for it. And it's because they just absolutely infuriate me. Every single one of them has this habit of throwing out like 5 billion mistakes, misstatements, misunderstandings, and they build on each one of them. And it takes forever to knock them back. James Freeman one time, when he was dabbling in sovcittery more than he is now, he threw out a bunch of citations to various cases, Supreme Court cases establishing your right to travel, i.e. to operate a motor vehicle without a driver's license. And, Chicago Motor Coach v. Illinois, all the usual suspects. And it was like an hour-long video of just me go, this one. Just, it was terrible. It was terrible. And I don't wish that on anybody. Sovereign citizens are a joke, and it just takes too long to debunk them, unfortunately. I don't do coke, but I love the smell of it. I see what you did there. Thanks, Merv. Glad you chose to smack down these dangerous retards. They make me sick. You have no regard for others and the harm they do. And that's true. And, it'd be one thing if they just live their own little lie, but they get on the internet and they try to preach it to other people. Like Damon Jones, who used to be a police officer in various states, got on this whole, you don't need a driver's license or tags to drive. Just like, Burma Man, loved you in Duck Dynasty. Thank you. In streams, lol, he treats some people like they are crazier than he is. Okay. Yes. In the video Paul showed where he got off was the prime of the pandemic, where they weren't taking people to jail unless you cut someone's head off. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of reasons why they don't take people to jail. Felipe Hemming will be doing a review of Merb's beard following this live stream. He just wants to hold on to it. Wrap both fingers through it and pull. 909. Okay, we're running out of time here. Merb, did you ever see the guy who was applying the sovcit shtick to child support? No, but good effing luck. The only way to defeat child support is to never, ever work at a job where you report your wages ever again. Always work for cash. Child support never goes away. It's not dischargeable in bankruptcy. You are stuck with it forever. It is the debt that never goes away. And like most judgments, like California judgments last 10 years, and then you can get renewed for another 10 years. Not child support. Forever. Anytime it ever shows up, DCSS, you turned over DCSS whenever you get a job somewhere, DCSS is going to be on it, like ugly on an 8. So no, ain't happening. Not going to be good. GHB is good. Okay. Debates on YouTube are pointless. They really are. Well, like that one time where I was supposed to debate Mark Stout. He came in like on a completely different topic than what we were allegedly supposed to debate. Completely different. We were going to debate X, and he comes in with Y. And hey, I hope you don't mind. And then his whole point was, look at this case. This case says this. Okay. Well, can we extrapolate it to anything else? And he would be okay extrapolating the holding to that case to every other state and every other town hall. But then he wouldn't talk about any specifics with any of those other town halls. So he'd be okay. Like how can you debate someone like that? It was pointless. It was absolutely pointless. Basically, his whole position was this was the holding in this particular case. Debate. Okay. Like, yeah, that was the holding. How are we going to apply it to every state? Well, they would all go through the exact same thing. Okay, well, what about this? Well, I can't talk about this. I can only talk about this holding. Pollen shaved seems like a high value genetic throwback. I don't understand that, but I'm sure that is very unflattering. When those followers will wind up in a heap of legal trouble, Chille does nothing but screw up people. Yeah, Chille will go in and file the lawsuit for you, and then that's it. Like, he will leave you flapping in the breeze. And so he'll do two things. Number one, he'll sell you on his little scheme. Like, oh, look, I'm going to file a lawsuit for you. You're going to be rich. And then he files a lawsuit, and then like he has no idea what to do. So you're on your own at that point. You're on your own, pro se or pro per, depending on how they call it, without any support, not knowing what to do, where to go, with something that you think is worth money that isn't. I mean, just a letdown on every point of the spectrum. I'm removing my pants as we speak. Well, your first problem was being in pants in the first place. Speeding is only illegal if you get caught. I guess technically true. Merb just confessed to reckless driving. Sure. Oh my God. Call the PRC. FAO. Merb speeds. Hell yeah, brother. Eyes. Everything is legal unless you get caught. Kinda. I always miss you live. Well, you're here now. What's Merb Discord? The OE1 went belly up. Okay. Foghorn in Merb's backyard. Yes. Mic drop. Now I've dropped my pants. I'm beginning to feel sexy. Well, let me feel you and see how sexy you feel. Merb's pants are sovereign. Choke that chicken. I've already done it multiple times. Hi, mean. First time I've caught you live. All the best from the GB. Great Britain? All right. Keep those U's. My darling, there is no spoon. Pollen Hinge is a complete nutter dunce cap. Yes, he is. Sword fight. Stumbled across the California Kim Gardner case in St. Louis. Should be interesting. Caught alive with a Merb. Love to hate you. Well, I'm glad you do. Have you on 1.5 speed to catch up. Nice. With that, okay. Have you considered using the Rooster Crow as your channel thing? Law Talk with Mike has a goat. You could have the cock. I already have the cock. Thank you. You can never have too much cock, though. I hope Chille cancels his license and registration insurance. His van home getting towed would be hilarious. Yes, it would be. This guy here has been brainwashed just stating facts. This guy here has been brainwashed just stating facts. Well, just stating facts. Well, good for you. The one speaking in the video. Oh, I've been brainwashed. You're just speaking facts. Well, we're going to take this anonymous guy, the infamous farmer, at his word. He knows more than I do. I'm just a stupid attorney out of California. But this guy, he's just stating facts, okay? Spheres project into 2D planes, okay? Spheres project into 2D planes, okay? 2D agents won't recognize 3D, okay? Flat earthers don't just misunderstand science. Some plain lie about it. Well, sure, maybe. Light cones, really. Flat earthers are naturally stupid. Sovcits are intentionally stupid. I think both tend to share the same kinds of elements. Both tend to be uneducated, self-taught. Both tend to be limited intelligence. They have some similarities. Chille and Here's the Deal guy both should give up their driver's license. Okay. I found out why Merv never wears pants. Has anyone ever seen if he has real legs? Lieutenant Dan. Flat earther misrepresent words like planet because it has plane in it, things like that. Level is another one. Okay. Well, maybe I'm not just deep enough into flat earthers. I'm sure it'd be the same level of regret going there as it would be for me to go to sovcits. Rape something retard. Okay. Merb is great. Got to check my light cone though. Keyboard Warrior gets around from one live to another. Troll much at Keyboard Warrior, seeing your true colors. Okay. I do bounce about. Yes. I try not to make enemies though. I've gained no friends. Lol. Flurfer. Merb, I loved you in Deliverance. Thank you. Squeal like a pig, boy. What a noisy cock you have there. Yes, I do. Laughing. Well, did someone call the PRC on me yet? Do you not have phones? Oh, I'm just stating the facts. We are all lacking truth. We're all lacking the truth, the facts, etc. We must come together to destroy the system we are all up against. It can happen to anyone. Now, if you wanted to say that the system that we have is broken and it needs to be replaced, I would be behind you. I'd be behind you 100%. But if you're going to lie about what the system currently is or misrepresent what the current system is, then we have issues because reality exists. And reality says that men with guns will enforce the current laws on the books. And the laws on the books say that you have to have a driver's license in every state that I'm aware of to operate a motor vehicle on state-owned roads. Now, on your own property, driving around your own property, maybe you don't need a license. Maybe you don't need to have your vehicle registered. But that's the current reality that we live in. Hand lotion and porn is my answer to prevent child support. You know what? Don't make babies until you're ready to pay for them. But get married first. Get married first. Kevin Samuels, listen to him, do the things his way, and you'll be okay. Don't make babies out of wedlock. Okay, maybe I'll gain a friend or something eventually. Thank you for being a friend. 917. The only way to get on child support is never give her your name. I mean, maybe. The debate versus stat was pretty funny, though, saying he didn't even know what he was saying. Yeah, he did not know what he was saying. It's sometimes people, they just say shit that's so stupid. Like, how do you even debunk it? You're not even wrong. You're so far off the mark. You're just not even wrong. It's just, 2 + 2 = purple. Are you a flurf? To get out child support, get gene profiling that proves the child is not yours. Well, yeah. I mean, you can spend a lot of money trying to get out of child support. That once it's been, yeah. I mean, if the kid isn't yours, you can, but it's expensive. I know exactly how I like it. That's right. I don't watch these clowns much. They don't know the 3 branches of government more than likely. Chille is good people and knows his stuff. Well, Chille is backing Paul and other travelers. So I don't think Chille knows his stuff. I'm going to go with no, he doesn't know his stuff. He's the opposite of knowing his stuff. Chille is exactly like them in that he pretends like he knows his stuff and talks a lot about it, but he's wrong and he misleads people. He does not know his stuff. You don't know your stuff enough to know that Chille doesn't know his stuff. It's like when someone goes into a mechanic and they don't know anything about how their car works, and the mechanic's like, "Yeah, we've got to replace your windshield. No, we got to replace your headlamp fluid." You're like, okay, go into a Tesla, bring your Tesla into the shop, and they're like, "Oh, we need to change your oil." If you don't know, you don't know, and so you don't know enough to know what Chille knows or doesn't know. He says things and you believe him, but you don't know enough to know that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Chille will help the defendant go to jail, pretty much. Chillita is engaging in the unlicensed practice of law, possibly. What does the good fringed mean on the USA flag? Anyone? You're going to pretend that it means that you're under maritime jurisdiction? Go fuck off. You have no idea what you're talking about. Good morning. Let's have margarita. Sure. Absolutely nothing. He sold his little song and dance to a lot of people there in Ironton, Chicago. Yes, he did. He misled them and then he bounced. You don't have to be a licensed person to practice law. You've been brainwashed to believe what you believe. Why do you think they all charge us money? You do have to be licensed because the state will enforce it. Because men with guns will enforce it. And they will fine you. They will put you in prison. They will do all sorts of wonderful things to you if you practice law without a license. So you're wrong. Now you could make an argument you shouldn't have to have a license to practice law, and you could make that argument, but you have to have a license to practice law. Good morning, Nate. Chille thinks he knows how to move from step 1 to 2, but can't carry anything beyond that. That's true. Kim Garden is a Soros plant. I have no idea about that. Desert Sentinel. What have you been smoking? He's a sovcit. See, he is getting angry. LMAO, I can see he's from California. California. How much does Chille charge for representation? I don't know. Oh my God, you're the worst farmer. I can just smell it. LMFAO, no, not troll either, but clowns are real for sure. No, you're not a troll. You're just stupid. How are your fishies doing? Any more eggs laid? No. I was pretty much not at home for a week, so I came home midweek to feed them. So they haven't been fed much, so I'm gonna have to fatten them up again, and we'll see. I did put some what do they call those? The clay things you put under pots, the saucers, for them to spawn in, so they don't have to try to use the bottoms of sponge filters. Merb, there is a sovcit and flat earther called allegedly Dave from the UK. He is also an avid piss drinker. You should look him up. No, I should not. I absolutely should not. Okay, I'm holding judgment. Okay, I like reality with Merb Easton. Have a great week. You too, lol. The only way to get out of child support is to not have wild flings with various women you don't plan to spend your life with. Yes, absolutely. Based condoms, sure. Condoms break. How many people in here are OG Merbists? I have no idea what you're talking about. I disavow all Merbists, Merbites, and everything like that. Chille, no, nothing. He is Dunning-Kruger personified. That is correct. Chille doesn't know much except how to run a grift. He doesn't even run a grift well. Bunny Boots, my boy, been here since the near start. I think the first time I went on the air, I think was on Bunny Boots. Yeah, Bunny Boots, good dude. Excellent dude. It's all common law. It's all common law, not the maritime law. We've been in since the Act of 1871 was passed. You are a fucking retard. You are a fucking retard. You might want to explain then why there is no federal common law. Specifically, there is no federal common law. The Supreme Court has said there's no federal common law. So you might want to explain that. Huh? Idiot. Tucker Carlson is leaving Fox News, and Don Lemon just got fired from CNN. Okay. Howdy, Bunny Boots. Have you changed your muffler bearing fluid this season? Exactly. Chille seems to know how to get GHB, so there is that. That reminds me, I need to check my blinker fluid. Absolutely. Hi, Merb. The gold fringe on a flag is purely decorational. Don Lemon fool. Chille got locked up last week. Can the court put a stop to all Chille's bullshit filing, as he just has the cases open and never goes forward with discovery and everything else? Eventually, maybe, but we're not there yet. Love you. The beard of knowledge has spoken. Have you ever tried to grow a beard that matched the size of mine from many years ago? I'm working on it. What Act of 1871? I think the Act of 1871 that he was talking about was where they created DC, I think. But they're stupid. So don't forget that you also need to get a bucket of steam and a box of grid squares. Absolutely. Where's the fun in that? Should have lost a case a month ago. It was dismissed. I love you allow the ignorant to speak so they can prove their ignorance. Blocking them seems to be a validation for the stupid. I try not to block people. If you come in here talking about something that's off subject and just blah, 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 like I don't care about kids, like keep like, thanks, added to my to-do list. Merb is my baby daddy. Prove it. Laughing. What's good, Merb? Yo, have him explain the Erie doctrine. Good afternoon from PA. Lyoto Machina drank his own piss and became a UFC champ. Okay. I mean, I don't think those two things are causally related. Thanks for watching and have a great day.